All right, my beauties and bees, welcome again to another episode of Cryptic Corner. If you didn't catch on, we are we are doing Ogopogo just for you. So this is the place where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and today, it's Ogopogo Day. So all my Canadians in the house, shout out to you out there. It looks like I only had one Canadian in the live chat. What the heck? Where are all my Canadians at? Where is the Canadians? I need to see more maple leaves. Drop those maple leaves. If you know a Canadian, just tell them I'm covering Ogopogo live right now and they will show up. Canadians love Ogopogo. As you can see by the song at the beginning of the show, Ogopogo is Canada's cryptid. They love their lake monster. And what's not to love? He's a weirdo. He's really a cool creature. He's kind of like Nessie, but more snake-like, I guess. We'll unpack it all here. Don't you worry. John the Fisherman by Primus was about you. I didn't know you liked Primus. Me and you seem to have a lot of the same musical taste, John Hudson. We should like just rock out sometime. Like, cause I know you like the D. You know the words to Wonder Boy. Yeah, they all want Tim Hortons for brunch. Is it brunch time? It's still lunch or still breakfast time. Yeah, Ogopogo, ketchup, hockey, maple syrup. Yeah, I hope I don't get a thing for that video. If I do, I'll just take it. I'll just remove it. But I loved that song. So I generally try to find somebody when I do these shows that believes, a true believer on their channel, trying to present evidence for the existence of the cryptid. That's always my goal. Sometimes with these historic ones, though, I'll just find a video that breaks down like the history of the creature and just kind of explains what it is, and then I'll break down, the debunking part of it. Yeah. Oh, I can play Rock Your Socks. Yeah. Classically trained to rock your socks off. You better believe it, pal. We ask so very little of you. But today I found, kind of a mix of both. And then other times I will just have, just cover the alleged sighting videos and stuff is what I'll cover. So, good morning, Spooky. We're in Canada. Eh? Gotta be doing my Canadian accent. Oh, so Canadian Nessie. Oh, yeah. That's what we're doing here. You betcha. I probably do just sound like that normally to people. People are like, "Why? What's Brie doing?" Because that's just how she sounds. Because I know people like from the South think I sound like I'm from the Upper Midwest, and then people from the Upper Midwest think I sound like I'm from the South because I'm from that weird middle ground. There's a line that runs across there, and I'm from there, and Maya's from there. And good morning, Maya, by the way, and Spooky, and yeah, got more people popping in. It's good to see ya. Yeah, I'm surprised how to rule an asteroid. I usually have more Canadians that come and visit me in the morning, but it's gonna be a big one, so I gotta get started. Stop rambling and get started. Let's see. So we're gonna do. First thing I'm gonna do is I guess I'd call it a true believer channel. I don't know. Would you call it a true believer channel or what? That's not the one I want. This one is. There we go. It's Broken Cross Paranormal. And before we go into it, let's look and see what else they cover. Their more recent stuff and whatnot. So 3 months ago, they did a Bigfoot video about Bigfoot being the missing link. Did a podcast here about ghost hunting. Penticton Hostel. Looks like they did a two-parter there. 15 minutes a piece. Maybe I'll watch some of their ghost hunting videos sometime too, if I like this one. But yeah, then they did this Ogopogo video some time ago, about 2 years ago. But they're like a paranormal. If I find like a ghost hunter group that's covering a topic, they almost always get first spot. True believers almost always get first spot for me, and I kind of encourage them to engage with me too. So like, I'm not like coming at you, bro. I'm just I'm a skeptic, but I've done I did the paranormal research circuit. So I'm just, this is to the true believers and to, the ghost hunters and stuff that I cover, the other cryptozoologists that I cover. This is to Broken Cross Paranormal. I did the circuit, so I'm familiar with all the things. At least, well, I should say my research is a bit or my field research or my field time's a bit dated because most of it was in the early 2000s. But I have put in the field time, right? I've been in the field, and I've done the research. I have my own library of. And these 30 plus people in the side chat right now that join me on Saturday mornings for some coffee and cryptids. Oh, coffee and cryptids. Why didn't I think of that name? Oh my gosh, that would have been a good name. Anyway, the position I come from is one of optimistic skepticism. I would love for certain cryptids to be hairy hominids, love for them to be alive and be real. Finding a living thylacine, oh my gosh, yes please. Or a living dodo, living mammoth, something like that. Please, please, please. That's what I want. But I don't want hoaxes. I don't want Minnesota Icemen, which again we covered last night. Which, when this goes live, it'll be a couple weeks back. But maybe I'll drop the link in the side chat if I'm not running around. Because sometimes on Friday nights when Cryptic Corner's on, I'm still out. Which is nice because it's been a long time since I've been going out on Friday nights. I've never seen the Ogopogo. Yeah, so I've done the circuit. I've done the research. I am literally a seasoned paranormal investigator and cryptozoologist. But I am a skeptic. I try not to be too jaded. Like I said, I try to be optimistic. It's hard sometimes because there's a lot of hoaxing and a lot of people that just don't know what they're talking about, doing a lot of talking. I'm not saying that's you, Broken Cross Paranormal, but let's find out. Let's dive right in. All right, and they're going to cover, Ogopogo, but they'll cover some of the other British Columbia lake monsters here too. But those are like Ogopogo's like brothers and sisters and cousins or whatever, so no biggie. Dragons in Genesis, you beautiful bastard. Hello, Jason. Oh, and Jason Jacoby too, of course. You're pretty as well. I just glad to see. Oh my gosh, and you got Dragons in Genesis and Kip Davis up in here. Good morning. Yeah, we're doing a Canadian special because we got polar bears at the end too. But for the middle of the show, we'll slip around to the other side of the continent and talk about the ice wall. Well, for now, let's get going. I like their intro though. Let me know how the audio is. I like to be like just tiny bit louder than the video. I'm trying to find the perfect sweet spot. So like if I decide to, and yeah, I'm pausing this a whole bunch because I don't want to get, I don't know what this soundtrack or whatever is copyrighted, but I want to be able to kind of talk over the video, but still have you be able to hear the video, I guess is the goal. Excellent.
Welcome back to What Bumps in the Night.
Mm-hmm.
The show dedicated to the creepy and the unknown.
And just to be clear, I do bump in the night. That is one of my characteristics. That's like a descriptor of me. So if If you hear that, remember, yeah, it does apply to ghosts and goblins, but it also applies to podcasters. Ooh, very atmospheric.
Growing up in British Columbia, I'm no stranger to the forests and lakes that make up this beautiful province.
Okay, so this is going to be creepypasta style, if you can't tell. You got the soft piano background. You got the croaky voice telling an emotional story about something that happened to me when I was young and didn't know any better. Blah, blah, blah. Creepypasta voice. But I'm here for it. I'm with it.
Living in the Okanagan, we've grown up hearing stories of creatures that lurk in the trees and the waters of this vast landscape.
Now I gotta break your damn atmosphere, because anytime they describe the location, I have to go full Dora the Explorer. Honestly, I should, if I wouldn't get copyrighted, I'd get a video of, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map. So here's our lake. And it's a glacial lake. Look how long and skinny it is. It goes from, here's Penticton. And it's got this long beach. Let's drop down and have a look. Boop. Right onto the beach. It's a beautiful lake. Too bad it's overflowing with monsters. Not really, though. Let you get what I'm saying. So it's a huge lake, too. So it runs all the way from here. And I don't know if y'all, because here's BC, right? I don't know if y'all understand the scale of this lake, but it's basically crossing over climate zones from deciduous to coniferous once you get up here to the northern points here. Can we drop down in this one? We'll see. How close can we get? Not close at all. Too many houses in the way. Oh, but hey, we got this view now. Look at that. Yeah. That's not a bad view. So, this is the lake. And yeah, it's super long. It's almost like a river, but it's actually really deep though. But it runs like a river through British Columbia. And there's cities all along the edges, up and down. There's also parks. And obviously a lot of marinas, a lot of tourism. But lake monsters are good for tourism too. So we have that. All right. Back to Broken Cross Paranormal.
In today's episode, we will be stepping inside the world of the cryptids to take a look at what lurks in British Columbia.
Penticton. Thank you, Kep. Penticton. Yeah, there was another video that had Penticton on there as well. Reminds me of the Finger Lakes. Yeah, very glacial. I think all these British Columbia lakes are kind of long and skinny like that.
Columbia's lakes.
And I just talked about that, how I will mispronounce stuff on here, so you guys can correct me and teach me how to say it right. Because I am not going to be ashamed of doing that, because I want to encourage other people to do that as well. Because I know how to say some words that a lot of people have trouble saying too. A lot of it because I sit here and do that with you guys, and you teach me how to say them. So thank you. Penticton. Penticton. Okay, I can say it like that. Penticton. I don't know if it comes up again. It might, because it's one of the prominent townships along the lake, right? Is it a city? How big is Penticton?
British Columbia is home to over 20,000 lakes, with Lake Quesnel
sighting on a popular lake in the Okanagan.
The Calgary family actually spotted it, and luckily for us, they caught it on video.
It could be another glimpse of the elusive Ogopogo.
It's got to be some sort of one-off fish that's just really long and likes to stick down low in the lake and then pops up every once in a while.
Okay, I don't think, like, if I had to speculate, I don't think that Ogopogo would be a fish. I mean, so here's the thing. I think a lot of the sightings are a fish, right? I think that a lot of them are white sturgeon. Spoilers, but the thing is, I don't think that what the people describe as Ogopogo's lifestyle, living down at the bottom and rarely coming up and all that, I don't think that's fish-like. I think that if we're going to speculate on anything like with them living deep down, they're either going to be an annelid of some kind, maybe, or a gastropod of some type. So like a freshwater slug, like a giant freshwater slug, or a giant worm would be my speculation if it's lived the lifestyle that they speculated it does, like living on the bottom in those cold waters. I mean, there's big catfish and stuff too that live down deep, but yeah, most of the sightings seem to be very sturgeon-like, and we'll see kind of a trend there.
What is that though?
That's not a wave. It's moving.
Mm-hmm.
Come stand over here closer. Get closer to it.
I'm videotaping.
So Unexplained is how we refer to the sacred spirit of the water. It's our name for what's commonly known as the Ogopogo, but it's more than just the Ogopogo. Unexplained is a way of being, it's a way of life, it's our responsibilities. I truly believe that whether they acknowledge it or not, the majority of people of the Okanagan believe in the Ogopogo. I know that to be true because the vast majority of people that I talk to talk about how they look for it. They tell me they don't believe in it.
That is not how you confirm something, confirm belief. People will look for something even if they don't believe that it's real, just to give it the benefit of the doubt, right? People don't like go out. Everybody who goes out looks for Bigfoot, right? They don't believe that Bigfoot's out there. They're wanting to figure out why people think Bigfoot's out there, what people are seeing, what people are experiencing that makes them think that they're seeing Bigfoot.
Look for it. So if you don't believe in it, why are you looking? And so I truly believe that the majority of people, whether they acknowledge it or
because you're wanting to know why people are seeing it. That's and I keep responding like he's talking to me directly. That's why I keep looking. Because I want people to. I do want to know why people are seeing what they're seeing or experiencing what they're experiencing. And I want people to know that it's not bad for them to report this stuff. Really, it's not. There's nothing. There's no shame in having a sighting. There's no shame in not understanding what you've seen. I want more people to be comfortable with that. It's very similar to like I was saying about messing up words. It's okay to say, I had this experience I can't explain. I had this supernatural experience that I can't explain. I have so many friends who believe in supernatural stuff or have had a supernatural experience that they can't explain, and I'm still friends with them. I don't make fun of them and judge them and stuff. Do I believe that their experience was supernatural? Probably not, but Does that mean that I don't think they experienced it? No, definitely not. And the same thing goes for especially Bigfoot sightings. Bigfoot sightings, there are so many things about them that are so, why does everybody experience this the same way?
Or not believe that there's something in the lake that gives them that anticipation, that gives them that excitement, and that gives them that sense of connection. It's believed in our hearts to be true as Okanagan people that in Hach 8 lives in Hach 8 Chief, which is the home of the sacred spirit of the water, which just around the bend over there, near what's called Rattlesnake Island, is an area called Squally Point. All I know is the stories of our people, the encounters, the likeness between those stories, the connections, the representation of a green monster, the representation of an animal that is longer than the length of a canoe, the head larger than that of a horse. The stories of some of these encounters connected to a creature with antlers, some not, which leads me to believe that, again, that there's a male and a female. If you think of deer or any other animals in our four-legged lands, the male bucks have antlers and the females don't. So maybe that.
Well, that's very specifically a mammalian trait, though, right? That the males will have horns or antlers. Are we speculating that Ogopogo, the sea serpent, is a mammal, an ungulate of some type? That'd be interesting. I guess if it was a whale, it would be an ungulate. That makes sense, I suppose, to that degree. And I mean, there aren't ungulates with horns. There aren't cetaceans with horns, but there are cetaceans with tusks. Enter the narwhal, right? Huh. So, how would a cetacean get trapped in a glacial lake? That is the question.
That's a testament to the science of Hach 8, or the science of Ogopogo. But really, what I know from our stories is that it's very dependent on fish, specifically the kokanee salmon, which was at one point in time prevalent within our region here in the central Okanagan.
What do you mean, Spooky? You don't even know Ogopogo or Champ? I put Beast of Busco on the list as kind of a silly one. Beast of Busco is the giant turtle it was a giant snapping turtle in a pond. It's literally the claim, like a giant snapping turtle. Did we cover the Beast of Busco yet? Or do we still need to cover that? His name's Oscar. I don't think we've covered it. No, we haven't. Excellent. That's a fun one to cover. It'll have to wait till after we cover the Trinity Mountains giant salamander, though. I've kind of categorized how I do my polls now. This poll was so tight this week. We had, hold on, let me show you guys. For this week's Cryptic Corner poll, it was so tight. Look at this. We had the Minahuni, which is the Australian Bigfoot guy. Littlefoot, I suppose, little hairy hominids. We had Ogopogo, the Trinity Alps giant salamander, and of course the red cap, which, it's March, so we need to have some fairies on the list. And this was at 25% across the board until like yesterday at like 2 p.m. And I was like, oh my God, I need to know which one to do so I can make sure to have the videos and everything prepped. And I had to beg people to come vote. I mean, this isn't with just a few people. That was with 20 people voting on the poll. And that's not a lot, but still that's 5 people voting for each of these guys. So all these topics are golden. Love it. We also there's the Oklahoma octopus too from the lake. I guess I should have put that on the poll. Oh well. Spilled milk. What are we looking at?
What is it?
I have no clue. No, what?
You see that?
Yes. What the heck? I'm filming that.
Me too. Are you zoomed in as far as you can?
Yeah.
Me too.
God, look at that.
Okay, to me, that looks like waves breaking. You all tell me though. What do you think?
As far as you can?
Yeah.
Me too.
God, look at that.
I thought that was like waves.
There are many theories on what the Ogopogo could be. The main explanations tend to be otters.
But they won't be sea otters like what you're showing here. This is a marine animal, very different from the otters that you're gonna see in a lake. The otters that you're gonna see in a lake don't like spend a lot of time floating on their back in the water. That's a behavior specific to the to the marine species. At least the sea otter. I don't know if the South American marine otters do this behavior or not, but this is a North American, off the coast, like from Alaska down to California. These guys live, and they float on their backs, and they're super cute, and they're really big. But this isn't the kind of otters that live in lakes. The kind of otters that live in lakes are, they're long and skinny, and they swim like a seal, like whoop, 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 whoop. They don't float on their backs. They can float on their backs, but it's not like it's not one of their like idle behaviors. Something they might do while they're playing in the water, though. But it's not like sea otters who do that like as their primary position at rest is floating on their backs.
Floating trees or logs. And the most believed.
That's an otter. That's a much better representation of an otter.
Sturgeon.
Yes, of course, white sturgeon. This white sturgeon.
This massive sturgeon has been caught in British Columbia, Canada. But this is not just any sturgeon, and this is more than a fishtail, Sloan.
This is something so rare. This fish is making headlines, Adrian. A fisherman who specializes in catching...
Ooh, I love your top, sweetie. Very Luigi. Feel like we need to go to the Mushroom Kingdom. Hell yeah. I'd wear the fuck out of that.
Sturgeons, an ancient fish that coexisted with dinosaurs, made an extremely rare find. The video he posted on TikTok has been viewed over 33 million times. And if you are at all squeamish, you might think twice before dipping your toes in the next river you see.
Gosh.
Check this out.
This right here is fisherman Eve Bison.
So, like, sturgeons are harmless. I don't know why you'd be scared of a sturgeon. I guess some people are scared of moths, and like it's like moths are cute. This poll is BS. Everyone knows Nessie can teleport. So Champ and Nessie have like the same profile, right? So Champ and Nessie might be the same guy. They just travel or Maya, you might be right. They might just teleport back and forth. Oscar's finally getting some votes. Is it because I said he's a giant turtle? People love turtles. Sometimes the seals can just stare at me when I'm on the beach. I love seals. You said there's no cryptids where you're at, Jason. Where I'm not trying to dox you or anything, but like what area are you in? I bet I can find. I know the cryptids everywhere around the world. I think so. If I don't know one, I could find one. And if I can't find a cryptid, I might find a ghost or something interesting to cover around your region. Yeah, if you all want me to cover a specific thing, when I run the polls there's whatever wins comes off the poll and we replace it with something else. And the stuff that's suggested in the comments, you still have to vote on the polls, but the stuff that's suggested in the comments will take if there's one that's in the lead, they'll generally take the place of the one that's moved away, if there's a suggestion that's reasonable. So if you have some local folklore, just something that you just want to know more about as far as cryptic corner topics. And just to be clear, that's it's not just cryptids. We do cryptids. We do ghosts, spirits, hauntings, fairies, demons, aliens, interdimensional beings, all that stuff here in Cryptic Corner. We are, as long as there's an entity involved, that's the main thing. And it's stuff without entities involved. Well, can Chessie be considered a lake monster though, right-handed Seth? Because Chessie lives in the sea. He's a sea monster. We might do Chessie, but we do Chessie, it's not going to be under the geist of a lake monster. Chessie will be among the sea serpents. We have covered sea serpents before, but not Chessie specifically.
This fish is 10.5 feet, probably 500, maybe 600 pounds.
And this is a 100-year-old sturgeon he recently caught in British Columbia, Canada. Bison's professional fishing guide company estimated that the monster fish is 10 feet long and weighs approximately 600.
Don't they have such a pretty patterns on them? They're underrated. They have this dark gray, silver, like a shark kind of color. But then they have these white ossiderms all over their skin. They like protect them. They're like little bony scutes. They got running down their back and then speckled on their sides there. Such a beautiful animal. I'm glad they let it go.
Pounds. Bison says this is the biggest fish he's ever seen.
With video proof, fishermen in British Columbia recorded, look at that monster, a 9-foot sturgeon leaping from the Fraser River.
The fishing tour operator says
that guy was like, had tears in his eyes. That would be incredible just to be able to see that. I mean, I don't care about catching it. Devil monkeys, kelpies. Okay, you guys can put. So if you got suggestions, right, for Cryptic Corner, don't put them in the side chat here, because I'll lose them. I will lose them. But if you put them in the comments on the polls, then I won't lose them. But let me look and see what everybody suggested so far, because people did start dropping stuff. We had New Hampshire. There are a couple, but they're not very popular. Okay. We have the Dublin Lake Monster. All right. And Tentacle of Ouroboros. Well, isn't it Ouroboros? Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail. There are no cryptids here, but if a couple of you can help me, we can film in a rough part of the park by the river and have a sighting. You're in Minnesota. We just covered the Minnesota Iceman. You were there last night. There's Minnesota cryptids from Minnesota. There's dogmen from Minnesota. Minnesota has some cryptids. I think y'all have some lake monsters too. You have a lot of lakes. It'd be a waste of all those lakes not to have monsters. Let's see. Our Bigfoot is skinny. You think a Bigfoot up in New Hampshire would be bulkier because the winters are cold? Snicker bars. What? Kelpies. Aunt Jura wants Kelpies. That's an interesting request. Kelpies are. New Hampshire devil monkeys, though. That sounds interesting. We need to cover devil monkeys. We haven't covered them yet. Everyone talks about Bigfoot, and the Land Before Time told us about Littlefoot. But what about medium foot? Medium foot sounds kind of vanilla, though. Ian Davenport, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the $20. Appreciate you. Thank you for being you, and thank you for giving love to the Hive. We love you. I always appreciate any contribution, any channel membership gifts, anything like that is so appreciated right now. I'm starting a new job, like I said, here in the coming weeks, or in the coming week, but right now I could use every little bit of help I can get to keep the candles lit. Thank you so much, Ian. I appreciate you. How long do sturgeon live? They can live over, they're like tortoises that can live like 150 years, I think. Something like that. I can see a fish that size breaking the surface. Could explain a monster sighting, especially from a distance with nothing for scale. Exactly. Swim in the Fraser? That's a glacial lake too, isn't it? Are you talking about the Fraser River in Canada? No, we have not done have we done Wendigo? We did. No, we haven't done Wendigo, so we can, we could do Wendigo. More Canadian stuff. Yeah, Wendigo would be Minnesota too. It's hard to say, though. I'm not sure. So there's... The thing with longevity in animals is we don't know how long a lot of species lived before humans. And that's a weird thing to say, but if you look at the whaling reports, this is just an example. If you look at whaling reports, right, from the early 19th century, the age and size of the whales that they were catching, right, and compare that to the size of whales that we were seeing and people were catching more recently, you're going to see a contrast because they don't live nearly as long, don't get nearly as big as they used to, at least not in the current climate. So, to say, oh, well, sperm whales live for 130 years. Well, yeah, they might live for 130 years now, but they maybe if we had been able to study them properly back then, we would have found that they lived for closer to 200 years. Just putting that out there. So longevity is a hard thing to track. I have a cousin that used to ski in the Columbia River. They were afraid of sturgeon, so they became very good skiers because they didn't want to fall into the river with them. Yeah. So I doubt many sturgeons live. Probably most sturgeons don't live longer than 50 years in the modern world. Yes, but no sightings around St. Cloud. A river monster would be prime. I want a St. Cloud river monster. We can create the St. Cloud river monster. Maybe it can be like a raccoon head on a catfish or something. Kelpies and wampus cats. We did cover wampus cats, I thought. Wampus cats and cactus cats I'm going to combine. because I love a cactus cat. They're fearsome creatures more than they are cryptids, but we can definitely cover them. Average size foot. We have a Rusalka in Lake Ontario. They were overfit. Yeah, that's like a lot of people that eat the caviar. It's pretty sad. Kelpies are freaky deaky for sure. Invented to keep kids from getting too close to the water. Well, the Kelpies, they disguise themselves as horses, right? And then like you get over there and touch them and boom, they get ya. The big question is where to go, when to go, why to go. We did cover on Captive Desk. That's where I remember talking about. I knew I talked about it somewhere. Maybe I'll go snag that and publish it over here on this channel, Dave, now that it's been a minute, if people are asking for it. No, I guess I didn't cover it. I looked back and didn't see. I think what I needed a cat, and I just choosing between the Wampus cat and the Onza won, mostly because the Onza's more realistic than the Wampus cat, because the Wampus cat, the Wampus cat, the Cactus cat, and there's some other ones too that have this feature of this spiky, like porcupine-like tail, and yeah, it's pretty wild. Let me get back to the video because we're
the
almost out of
fish,
time.
in his estimation, weighed 350 pounds and was likely at least 50
Wow.
years old. These things,
huge,
get old. They tagged it for conservation purposes and then released it back in the river.
White sturgeon can grow up to 6 meters in length, weigh over 600 kilograms, and live over 100 years in age. But with no actual evidence that there are any in Okanagan Lake, what do you think it could be?
But we do know that there are white sturgeon in British Columbia lakes, though, as opposed to giant sea monsters, which there's no real evidence of them existing anywhere.
Surely this is a one-off animal, right?
What would a one-off animal be? A species requires a lot of characteristics to be distinct. It needs to have a population. It needs to have an evolutionary history. It needs to fit into a phylogenetic tree. It needs to have an ecological presence. Unless you're making supernatural claims.
But what if there were more sightings? In other bodies?
I might grab it for St. Patrick's Day this year and like do a replay of it. Dave, that's a good idea.
Bodies of water.
What was that?
Oh, go.
What the hell? How is that?
Ogopogo.
I'm in a boat over there. You got that on tape? That's the Shuswani.
Lake monster fever has
Shuswani.
hit the Shuswap.
It was an unusual day. We were catching lots of big fish.
They're known as two guys with flies. Les Lauren and Brody Blair spend a lot of time fishing on Shuswap Lake, and when they caught wind of an apparent Ogopogo sighting on Skaha Lake, they knew they had to speak up.
And it looked identical to what we saw.
I'm just waiting for the big one.
Back in March at Murdoch Point, the two men say they saw Ogopogo's lesser-known cousin, the Shuswap Lake's Shuswagi.
And from behind us, what we heard was almost like a breach of a whale. You know, the water's coming out of its spout. But you could see the shininess of the humps in the water.
The pair said the lake was perfectly calm with no other boats in sight.
And it went a long ways, this thing. It circled us.
The men told their story to the local paper back in April, and it became the talk of the town.
Well,
no, that is definitely something.
And Shuswagi isn't their made-up name. It's referenced online. A Salish word.
That picture's a Basilosaurus, ancient whale, but it wasn't humpy. Basilosaurus were serpentine. They weren't like I don't know. The way they make sea serpents swim is so weird.
For water bear. There are historical references to Shuswagi sightings that go back about 100 years. Brody Blair said a friend saw Shuswagi back in 2008.
He saw 100 yards out something black, shiny, and nobody believed him, thought he was crazy.
No matter what they saw back in March, the friends say they're glad they saw it together, and they hope they will again.
I want to get...
Jim LaRock says he couldn't believe his eyes.
Can't be a wave.
Mysterious ripples breaking through Skaha Lake's glassy surface near Kaleden on June 1st.
And all I heard was like a swooshing sound, like swoosh, swoosh.
He scrambled to pull out his cell phone and hit record as his son waited on a paddleboard nearby.
He turns and sees a flipper come up out of the water and hit the water.
I don't see any flippers. LaRock believes this mysterious wake is actually 7 fins paddling in sync.
So if you flip the dragon boat upside down, you would see all those oars kind of coming out of the water.
More than 120 feet long.
It's an upside down dragon boat for the upside down Vikings. Of course it is.
He's convinced it's the most conclusive evidence yet of the legendary lake serpent.
And this is, in my opinion, a definitive Ogopogo sighting.
Strange.
But couldn't that be a shoal of fish though, like a school moving through there? Why a school of salmon? A group of otters chasing a school of salmon? My guess for that one would be a group of otters. I don't know for sure though. Like a group of otters just having a good time.
Strange, right? But the Okanagan isn't the only place that these type of sightings are happening. In fact, within Canada alone, there are 5 different stories of similar origin. Over North America, there are over 12 different aquatic cryptids being sighted. The world we live in is a strange and fascinating
a lot more than
place,
that.
filled with many unknowns that in time, I believe we will understand.
Sweet summer child, if that's all the lake monsters you know about, I got a lot to break down for you.
But for now, the idea of mythical filled with many unknowns that in this type of sightings are happening. In fact, different aquatic cryptids.
Say you don't even have Oklahoma octopus, no sinkhole Sam. Yeah, you're missing a lot of all the Great Lake winds on this map. But yeah. Anyway, we'll let you do your outro.
The world we live in is a strange and fascinating place, filled with many unknowns that in time, I believe we will understand. But for now, the idea of mythical creatures swimming in the waters of the world, hiding in plain sight, will continue to populate the furthest reaches of our imagination, leaving us forever wondering what else is there in the darkness.
All right.
I'd like to thank you for watching. It means the world to us for the support. If you enjoyed the episode,
I want to subscribe.
Please give it a like and make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on all the creepy content that we have coming.
All right, so this was... Yeah, we don't need that poll up here anymore. This was Broken Cross Paranormal. So, yeah, I might revisit them if they keep making stuff. It seems like they've been sort of stagnant here lately. But 3 months ago they did do something, but before that they hadn't produced anything for a couple of years. But we'll keep our eyes open. All right, let's look at some short little Ogopogo videos. We got a few minutes left.
There we go. There's another ripple that just comes in seemingly from nowhere.
A lot of these people probably...
It looks like there's something swimming in the water. You get some ripples. It makes it look like there's humps. Now, all over the lake, you can see where the currents go in different directions. When they meet, Ogopogo appears. Oh, there's some more.
Yep.
Right there.
Homie gets it.
Now, a lot of the time, you can tell it's just a lake wake. Lake wake. just waves.
But when
it
they
gets
hit together
funky
just
in the
right.
corners, right? And it's in the corners that you get the wobble in your waves, which is where we're getting our lake monster, guys. I'm quite sure. Every one of the videos I've seen, this is what happens.
And that almost looks like an otter to me.
I have no idea what that is. That is as far as I can zoom.
The part of the problem, I think, might be that we're zoomed in so much it's starting to pixelate. I can't make out the outline. But, I mean, oh, it's birds. It's birds. Swimming around. Oh, stop. That's just birds. Look at it. There were other ones. There's like a group of birds sitting out on the water. I feel like you like.
All right, people, here we go. It's Ogopogo time again. And you're like, what? Okay, so this is what goes on with all these Ogopogo pictures. I have a camera that can zoom this time. Okay, now this is near where I saw whatever it was I saw. It was in the water. All right, so let's zoom in. And this is kind of what everyone always sees, right? Looks like a nice long serpent in the water. But it isn't. It's different currents. I'm sorry, guys.
That's
I'm gonna
Ogopogo.
break some people's hearts. I'm gonna make some people angry here. Right? We got a current that comes around the corner over there. Right? And the lake bends. And this is where all these Ogopogo sightings are. And it's where the water going different directions seems to always hit. And it makes these ripply effects. And it leaves, obviously, there you go. Look at the size of that serpent.
A giant snake in the water. Yep.
That's unfortunate, guys. Now, is there something in Okanagan Lake? I'm sure there's a few things in there. Oh, there we go.
See, there's the paddle and fins that they talked about in that last
Its
video.
head popping up.
Clearly, it's the Viking oars, upside down
See,
Vikings.
it totally looks like it's a serpent making shapes,
And
making waves.
breaching. This guy gets
If you
it.
look at all the other video out there, it's very similar to this. See?
Yeah, very similar to that.
Try to zoom in here.
Same phenomena.
Wow, that was pretty big. There's no boats around there, right?
Seems to be staying in that one spot. I wonder if it's just turned to the water.
Same kind of phenomena. Let's see, is this the same thing? Yup. Is this the same thing? No, this is the birds again. That's the two birds chasing each other in the water. Ducks, it looks like. And there's the ducks again. There's a doggo. What's that on this list for? I don't know. I'm glad to see you, though. What a good boy you are. Yes. Oh, you're going to get that stick. Where'd you go, buddy? Where'd you at?
This is Canada.
Oh.
British Columbia.
Where's Ogopogo, though? 2001. More of those waves. Look at that. It's a special kind of wave that happens in lakes when they have curvy features. Yeah, not very impressive, really. Once you know what's going on, once you understand the currents, once you understand what we're looking at. All right. Well, that was, oh my gosh, almost perfect timing too. That was Ogopogo. I don't know if you all, or I guess there's some people that didn't know about Ogopogo. Yeah, Dogopogo. I liked how we had Dogopogo just dropped in there for no apparent reason at all. All right, let's end the poll and see who won. It looks like Ogopogo did win the poll. Ogopogo won the poll with 52% of the vote. The other votes were split 29 and 17 between Champ and Oscar the Beast of Busco. Now that Ogopogo is off the list for the polls, yeah, you can give me a comment down below, or when I open the new poll up, you can comment and tell me what you want to see on Cryptic Corner. The other options that are still going to be there are, again, going to be our Mini Hoonie, the Trinity Alps Giant Salamander, the Red Cap, and if I don't get any suggestions, I think Kelpie is the one I've seen the most of so far. But if you have another recommendation, vote for it. We'll see what wins. There's a First Nation just across the Fraser River from me called, I should try to pronounce it. I'm not going to pronounce it. Called the Stalis. And they proudly feature a drawing of Sasquatch on their official band webpage. That's cool. I love Sasquatch. We cover a lot of Sasquatch here. I actually have to limit myself to putting one hairy hominid on the list. So the Mini Hoonie's been on there for a while. Not nearly as long as Ogopogo was on there, though, so I'm not worried or anything. But yeah. Appreciate everybody for coming, though, today. Let's do the Sauk River Monster. You can do a special episode, how to make your own cryptid. Yeah. Well, I think if it's going to be a St. Cloud Monster, can we do... I love atmospheric jellyfish so much. And I have covered atmospheric jellyfish. If you missed it, go check it out. They're like my I always say that this is my favorite, and that's my favorite. But atmospheric jellyfish, there's just something about it that's just like, that's such a cool creature concept in and of itself. But yeah, Ogopogo will be replaced by something else epic. So look for that poll and vote. As always, please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.